performing all over the world, has performed at TED India, has performed at the Democratic Convention, has performed all sorts of places. So we're extremely honored to have him with us today. And to start off the second half of the event, Mr. Dan Nainan, come on up.
Yeah, first of all, don't worry, I haven't heard of me either. I mean, my publicist is amazing, makes me sound better than I really am, and my agent, my manager, and it's all me, by the way, just so you know. But yeah, it's great to be out here in ethnically diverse Connecticut. Yes, it's always great to come out here and see the diversity. It's wonderful. I was in the, having the breakfast, and did the place smell like kind of a sauna or like a steam room? Did anyone else get that? Yeah, someone said, no, that's my cologne. No, and I want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Kaiser, and is it Mr. and Mrs. or Dr. and Dr.? Okay, all right, yeah, thank you. And I also want to thank Ted. Is Ted here, or? Ted's here, yes, Ted's here. Fantastic. Ted, thank you for having me. And did anybody go look at my YouTube or anything, or you're all a blank canvas? All right, good. That's how I prefer it. One of my YouTubes hit 1 million yesterday, believe it or not. Yes. I mean, it's, in the scheme of thing, it's not that. I mean, for an unknown comedian, it's pretty good, but compared with the, like the sneezing panda or whatever, I mean, he or she, I don't know, it got 50 million hits and didn't even tell any jokes, It's, but so for those of you who didn't see it, I'll tell you what. First of all, people wonder when I get on stage, what race is that guy anyway? My dad is from India and my mom is from Japan. I let that sink in. So I get my sushi from 7-Eleven. I mean, the Ku Klux Klan came to my house and they left a burning question mark on my front lawn. Now, this might shock you, but before I was a comedian, I was actually a computer guy. Worked for Intel in California. And when I applied for the job, they said, "You're Indian and Japanese? You don't even have to interview. You can be vice president." I wasn't vice president, but I actually did work for Intel. My job was to travel around the world with Chairman Andy Grove and do technical demonstrations on stage. And the technical part was easy, because I'm Indian and Japanese. But the tough part was speaking, and so I took a comedy class. And I see by this clock I don't have that much time to explain what happened after that, but come and see me afterwards. I'll tell you what happened. It's pretty interesting. So now, folks, this is a true story. I'm driving to Dulles Airport with my parents, and we see these cows grazing in a field. So my dad says, now, there is a word that can have a lot of different meanings. Graze. For example, a cow can graze. And I say, or you can be grazed by a bullet, especially if you're hanging out with Vice President Cheney. And then, no lie, my mom says, or it's a kind of a donut. It's a true story. And my parents are, kind of funny themselves. I mean, they've written most of my jokes unwittingly for me. When I was growing up, I hated making my bed. I still hate making my bed. And one morning I woke up and I said to my father, why do I have to make my bed? Because it's just going to get messy again. And he says, why should you wipe your bottom? So, yeah, I got to speed this along. This is kind of, I guess, a sampler, basically, of what you normally get. But world politics, it's amazing what's going on in the world. The Arab world, you've got protesting and the governments are shutting down the internet, and I was thinking, instead of shutting the internet down, they should just use AT&T. Nobody would get reception, right? And you've heard Libya, I mean, Muammar Gaddafi has been the dictator of Libya for 40 years. 40 years, Colonel Gaddafi, and he's never promoted himself to general. Why is that? I mean, for 40 years, he's been the same rank as the guy who invented KFC, right? It's unbelievable. So now, professional athletes, folks, say the funniest things. You know, Chris Washburn of the Atlanta Hawks actually said, "I can go left, I can go right. I'm amphibious." Now, you're educated people, so you know that he really meant ambiguous, right? Right. And Shaquille O'Neal said, Shaquille O'Neal was in Greece for Summer League, and they asked him if he went to visit the Parthenon, and he actually said, "We didn't have time for no clubs." So now, folks, I do get to, one of the benefits of my job, I mean, you know, of course, the money is terrible. I think last year I made $17,000 with no health insurance. But no, I'm just joking. But no, but one of the benefits is I do get to travel the world. It's fantastic, and I travel so much that I get to fly in first class, and I get to hang out in the lounge. So my life is a lot like George Clooney in Up in the Air, just without the sex. And so I wanted to show you some of the interesting pictures. Now, this is not your typical boring slide presentation, but I wanted to show you some of the things that I have seen around the world. We'll start with New York, of course. Don't litter on the side of a trash truck, and I'm wondering, well, then these guys wouldn't have any jobs if nobody littered, right? Then I saw something at New York I thought I would never see, but I actually saw a gentleman playing golf in the subway. Yes, that's a real picture. It's very strange. You see everything in New York. It's amazing. Let me just get my little cheat sheet here. I don't have this memorized just yet. And then, let's see. Oh, then on the train, the Long Island Railroad, it says, "Do not board moving train." I guess they must have a problem with people jumping on moving trains on the Long Island Railroad. And then in Philadelphia on the SEPTA, you have the opposite problem. It says, "Do not get off moving train." Actually, I think I have that reversed. The first one was SEPTA. This is Long Island Railroad, for those of you who are keeping track. No, you know, I'm not a partier on the road. I like to do my show, get to bed no later than midnight. I'm a lot older than I look, trust me, but I can't tell you how old because they're taping this and putting this on the internet. But come and see me. My birthday is Wednesday, so and it ends with a 0, by the way. Yeah, so I like quiet when I'm on the road, and I'll always ask for a quiet part of the hotel. So I'm at the Crowne Plaza in Los Angeles, and they give me this room. It says, on the quiet zone floor, and no children, leisure groups, marching bands, or circus animals will be assigned to this area. Oh, there we go. There's the latest floor. Yeah, it sounds like I want to be on that floor, right? Yes, exactly. Then I did a wedding in Miami, and it was between the Werners and the Peñas, and it says Peña Werner Weeding all over the hotel, which is very strange, considering that the groom was kind of a pothead. It was very apropos. I'm very frugal. I like to know. I mean, I like to, I like to know how to save money every possible way I can. I went to the library, in fact, to borrow this book called "The Cheapskate Next Door: The Surprising Secrets of Americans Living Happily Below Their Means." Great book. Notice, though, the fine is now up to $250. So I'm not practicing what I preach there. Was on America's Got Talent very briefly. I saw something backstage I never thought I would see, an Asian guy teaching an African-American man how to break dance. Very, very unusual, yes. And this one, oh, no, that's too dirty. I can't do that one. And then this one's stupid. This is funny. I don't think it's that funny, actually, but it was kind of, my mom got this letter about, how there's somebody in, I think, Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso left her $20 million or something like that. The same stuff you get by spam email, but this was in the mail, and it says, "Personal funds manager to late Mr. Hiroshi J. Nainan," which is very weird because that's an Indian and a Japanese name combined. So the spammer actually took the time to do that, but I got to work on that. That needs some work. Saw something in Hawaii from the Department of Obvious Science Department on the Big Island. Road closed, right, due to lava, yes. This is interesting. In China, bottled water in a can, yes. And then, now we Asians are very stereotyped. People say that we eat cats, and I find that a very offensive stereotype. And yet in Los Angeles, I saw a restaurant called Kung Pao Kitty. Asian eatery, yes. I was in Hong Kong and I saw that they have a place called the Part Massage Center. I don't know what they mean by that there. It's a Part Massage Center, yes. I guess they mean the part on the top of your head. That's what that is, yes. And then, let's see, that's not funny. This is weird. In Johannesburg, it says, we understand traveling can be stressful, but please don't take it out on our staff. I mean, what had to happen that they actually had to print up a sign like that? That's unbelievable. And then in Durban, South Africa, I saw this sign. It says, persons using this pier do so entirely at their own risk. Notice it's from the Parks, Leisure, and Cemeteries Department. Which explains why there's only 6 people on this beach on a 100-degree day, yes, in Durban, South Africa. I thought I would type in, just for fun, how to get from Orlando, Florida to Melbourne, Australia. It says turn left at 6th Avenue, turn right at North Lake Way, and then it says kayak 2,700 miles across the Pacific Ocean. Performed in Tokyo. It was called Kinky University was the name of the place. Yes. So I guess they guarantee you a position when you graduate. Not too dirty? And then, okay, now this one. Okay, this one I think is self-explanatory. No, I'm not a dirty comic. That means go around the back of the building. Yes, yes. God, your dirty mind is just unbelievable. Let's see. Then, oh yeah, the North Georgia Falcons priority list. God, family, and then Ace Demix or something like that. It's unbelievable. And then, okay, I saw this. It says, sorry, for those of you who can't see, we are closed due to short staff. Then it says, hire taller staff because I need a taco. This is weird. This is a package that actually came to my apartment in a DHL envelope with a FedEx sticker here that came by UPS Next Day Air. I know Obama talks about working together, but that's ridiculous. And finally, I had to take a picture of this in my own hometown where I grew up, the George Bush Center for Intelligence. Okay, this tells me this is a Republican audience, all right. All right, thank you. Yeah, so that's my new slideshow. Still working on it. Any suggestions, please come and see me. Thank you, yes. So, speaking of funny quotes, you know, presidents have also, presidents are known for great quotes like 7 years ago. What's it going to be for George Bush? Oh, for you Republicans, I have some Obama stuff coming up, so don't get upset.
Now, I was not aware of September 11th until September 11th. I was not aware of Hurricane Katrina until September 11th. In fact, somebody asked me how I feel about Roe versus Wade. So I told them, look, if you're in New Orleans, row, wade, swim, whatever you have to do to get out of there. Because we're not coming to help you. Now these terrorists, we're going to get these folks, these perpetrators who have perpetrated the perpetrations of these crimes against humanity and other people. Now the terrorists operate out of a worldwide network of bitter, angry men, losers who grow beards and make movies and call themselves Al Gore, or Al-Qaeda.
They asked Bill Clinton how he feels about current events, and this is what he had to say.
Now, I have something I want to say to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I never had sexual relations. I never had sexual relations with that overbearing, overweight, obnoxious publicity hound, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Now, Democrats get mad, but, I wanted Hillary to win in the beginning because I was tired of people saying an African-American man could not be president in America because you've had plenty of African-American presidents in Africa. Now, I'm still working on the Obama impression. He's not as easy to do as Clinton or Bush, but here goes. Now, I look over here to the left, and I look over here to the right, but I never look straight in the camera. That's right. Now, I'm running for re-election, which will give me 4 more years to find my birth certificate. Now, the day after the election, they caught a man trying to climb over the White House fence. They said, President Bush, get back here, you still have 2 months left. Now I look over to the right, and I look over to the left, but I never look straight in the camera because that would make my ears stick out even more. Now, my mom always says, instead of saying Barack Obama, she has problems with the L's and the R's, so she says Barack Obama. I said, no, Mom, you've got to say Barack Obama. She goes, no, that would be racist. But she was very excited about the election, which is not how she pronounces that word. Oh, you dirty minds, my goodness. Now, and you saw Jesse Jackson crying, when Obama won. I think part of it, of course, like many of us, he was very happy, but I think also he was thinking, that should have been me. Because he actually did run for president about 25 years ago, and if he were to run again, of course, it'd be all about racism. Now, why on the piano are there 88 keys, of which 51 are white, but only 37 are black. Notice the white keys all together and touching each other, but the black keys all separated by white keys. And why in the game of billiards or pool or what have you is the object of the game for the white ball to knock the black ball off the table. And when the black ball is gone, the game is immediately over. And yet somehow whitey returns again and again. The only game that is fair is bowling. Because the black ball gets to knock down 10 whiteys. And they all have red necks. All right, folks, now this is the point where I normally sell CDs and DVDs, but we're not allowed to sell anything at TED. But do come get my card. My business card is free. I'm available for corporate functions and weddings and funerals.